yesterday.
Yeah. I've been
And
looking for you all morning. It's been so much to keep going through and to keep abreast of everything here at our ministry.
yes, I was just reviewing, while though we were there,
Uh-huh.
reviewing the speech by Honorable Dr. Ashni Singh.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of persons say, yes, it may be lengthy, but it is
Mm-hmm.
one that kept you up all the time.
Yes.
And all the sectors were
Yes.
touched and are affected in a positive way.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll come to ours in a few, but, I'm very happy what I
Mm-hmm.
saw. And when you, and it's speaking towards the team.
Yeah.
So
Putting
yes, you'll
people first.
so you'll say yes, putting people first, and what does
Mm-hmm.
that mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that means every bit of what we gear towards ensuring that all of
Mm-hmm.
us, we're in this beautiful country called Guyana, that we can live a better life.
Yes.
Every day our lives must be uplifted.
Yes.
Ensuring as a government we provide the access to the services,
Mm-hmm.
provide a future for the children.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally enjoyed the
Yeah,
budget
yeah, sure.
presentation.
I did as well. As a matter of fact, I couldn't help but reflect on, what a solid foundation I thought that this budget that was presented last night by Dr. Ashley Singh gives us the help to implement the various programs that our government has for our country, and particularly for us, of course, in the Ministry of Housing and the Central Housing and Planning Authority. But looking at the whole kind of macroeconomic picture that was presented yesterday and how our economy has performed over the last year, 2025,
Yes.
it was very heartening to see, for instance, that the economic growth was 19.3%. And as you think of perhaps, so many people think of now that our country is an oil-producing country, um, that perhaps the I guess newfound wealth, for the want of a better description, is so significant that the other sectors are being neglected. But
No,
that
not
isn't
at
so,
all. Not
right?
at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we saw that the non-oil economy is at 14.3%, which is quite impressive. What did you think
But
about
before
that?
as well, we have to speak towards to what does budget entail? What does it
Yes,
mean for you?
yes.
What does it mean for every one of us here? And
Mm-hmm.
that is because a budget gives you an outline. It's a plan how we will implement the
Mm-hmm.
policies and programs,
Mm-hmm.
the initiatives that are geared towards what we said we will do.
Yeah,
So it's not just talking about 2026. While yes, it's a
yeah.
2026 budget being
Mm-hmm.
presented, it's a long-term plan. Implementing in the long-term way
Mm-hmm.
measures now, starting now.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
went to the people of Guyana. We went with a manifesto.
That's
We
correct.
said these are the things we're committed on.
Yes.
His Excellency the President
Mm-hmm.
in December would have outlined to the people of Guyana
Mm-hmm.
our vision for this period, these 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so now is our first budget in this term.
Yes.
It means, therefore, this is put into place, starting the initiatives of what we said we will accomplish.
Yes.
So it's
Yes,
a
indeed.
period. It's a budget over a period.
Yes.
And this is what it's
Mm-hmm.
about. So
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of persons are talking about the measures, or talking about some of the commitments that are being made to say, we probably haven't reached as where we should.
True.
But they
Mm-hmm.
forgot that this is a cycle.
A
It's a
cycle, a
cycle
five
with
year,
with a
5 years.
period we're
Yes.
talking about. So
Yes.
yes, we're starting it now, and we'll achieve great things. We'll achieve a lot for the people of Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to start
Yes.
somewhere.
As was done in the first term of His Excellency, Dr. Mohamed Fanali, for that 2025 period. And just thinking about housing and having that target set for the number of house lots that were supposed to be distributed, that target, and how your ministry, was able to surpass that target. So
Mm.
you have something that is outlined in the manifesto, and then as you deliver over that 5 year period, is always good to take a step back, to take a look back and see how you have performed, and how quite proudly we can say that the government of Guyana, the People's Progressive Civic Government, did deliver on those commitments that
Delivered
came.
all our manifesto commitments,
Yes.
and surpassed
Yes.
many of them.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the score sheet was positive in all
Yes.
regards.
Yeah.
And now then, yes, we are speaking about the largest budget.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're talking about 1.5 trillion
Mm-hmm.
with no new tax,
No new taxes.
and it's
Yes.
important to note that as a result, also with a number of removal of VAT on certain
Mm-hmm.
measures,
Mm-hmm.
it means therefore less revenue. But
Yes.
yet we're doing more, and that is
That's
what we're
true.
putting back into the
That's
pockets
true.
of our
Yeah.
people.
That's true.
So
I think one of the most striking ones that perhaps we tend to forget sometimes is the removal of excise tax on fuel and lubricants. The fact that that measure was put in since 2021,
Correct.
and the presentation of the budget last night has said that we will continue that measure throughout. It was maintained throughout from 2021 throughout the period up to 2025, and now in 2026 that will continue.
No new tax measure are, in
And
fact, we're easing, continue to ease.
yes, but Dr. Singh did say last night that we're foregoing about 100 million Guyana dollars in revenue from that one single measure alone, which is significant, because if we have that as revenue, you can be able to, deliver on many more programs, and if you had the benefit of
And I
those
know the people
resources.
further afield will be happy too, because
Yeah.
in the similar vein, just like how it helped the mining industry a lot.
Mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm.
ATVs, well, yes, for mining, when we got back in, we had taken
Yes.
out the VAT. Now,
Yeah.
removal
Yes.
completely.
Yes.
And so that it is helping families,
Yeah.
whether it's transportation, whether it's mining,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
So it's a lot that we're happy about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all that we said that we will do, we've put the measures in place to be able to
Yeah.
commence and implement.
Yeah, I'm glad that you raised that issue about ATVs, because, in our program here at the Ministry of Housing, persons may tend to think the manner in which, our contractors and even some of our staff get around might just be, with vehicles or 4x4 or
No.
something. But in the more hinterland communities, you do depend on outboard engines. You do
Right.
depend on ATVs, to get in some sections of Region 8 and so on. So, it's a benefit to not only, persons who in their normal way of life, have to, they have some savings, if you will, on those costs, but even to our ministries, that as you have to provide the necessary transportation services, and the contractors who are delivering on the work and contracts that we've, issued.
But speaking about both engines, the
Yes.
removal of that 150 horsepower
Horsepower.
and under,
Yeah.
many of the riverine communities, that's their means of
Yes.
transportation,
Yes.
their only
Pomeroon.
mean of
Yes. Yes.
transportation.
Yes. Region 1. I know
Yes,
Region
yes,
1 is
yes,
near and
yes,
dear
yes.
to you.
Certainly,
So,
yes. So we'll help it, especially with school. We've
Yeah.
increased the amount of boats to assist with
yes.
transportation of school
Yes.
children. A lot of
Yes.
persons use that to farm or to go out
Yeah.
to the main areas.
Yeah.
So these are measures that we put in place that to help bring accessibility and to allow, therefore, for persons to be able to, when it was prohibitive. And same thing with the 4x4 vehicles, and no
The 4-door cabs.
yes,
Double
yes,
cabs.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but in terms for our sector, I'm very happy. Surprise, one or two surprises in terms of some of the measures that will help our sector. And I
Yeah.
mean, we'll talk about a bit. I know some of which are dear to you from your background. But for us, we continue to work for housing.
Yes.
We've said to the people that we have a number of priorities that we want to implement. Of course, foremost on many persons' mind is to be able to get their land, to be able to
Yeah.
access their land.
Yeah.
But to do that, the infrastructure work is required.
Yes.
And people take for granted that when you get that land, the level of work that has to go into
Yeah.
that to prepare the land.
Yes.
These are virgin lands, no access, no infrastructure,
Yeah.
and you have to first of all put the access in, then you have to do all the internal infrastructure, drains in the roads, and put the internal utility services.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's costly.
Yes.
But we are working as a PUPC government to, as far as practical, to ensure our people have an opportunity for ownership.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes.
Right.
Yes. And that as part of that delivery, to meet those commitments, not only in the preparation of the lands, but also the fact that as part of this construction sector that is growing so significantly, I think I believe the finance minister said over 25.4%. As part of that, you also see the benefit to other sectors, such as the persons who are involved in sand mining, and the persons who are involved in timber production. And so we cannot just look at the budget and the measures in the budget just through one single lens. You see the interconnectivity across sectors.
3 new quarries.
Exactly. Yes, and how that will help persons in those other sectors as we support ours here at housing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we are part and parcel of the construction sector.
Yes.
And this is only from government infrastructure. The individuals themselves, when they're building their own home, they're playing their role.
Yeah.
And so with we have resources that are there to ensure this happen. But there's something interesting too. A lot of persons talking about transportation. A lot of persons they're using the opportunity to invest in trucks, as part of the transportation sector for support for transporting aggregates and an opportunity of employment. But what's the problem? You go to the communities and you see trucks, on the
Parked on the
parkway,
sideway, at the
not in.
roadways. Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
our government is now putting measures in place to assist in this regard.
Yeah, but I mean, expand a bit more on this.
Yes.
What is going to be done
So
with regard to these trucks and parking in the communities on the side of the parapets, on the road
yeah.
shoulders and
So
so on? What was being planned
the
by our
reality
ministry?
is though, if you're buying your equipment or you're buying your truck, you must take into consideration where you park them. And we have an aggressive program. We want to have communities. We want to have clear. We have to have clean. And there are certain parameters of how we want your community to look like.
Exactly.
And many of these are in residential areas where persons are servicing their truck. They're doing different mechanical activities. So we're setting aside areas where you can be able to take your truck, and you can have it parked there.
Truck or trucks, right?
And
Plural.
your trucks, well, many case trucks. Many case trucks.
Yes.
So we are developing truck parks.
Yeah.
And across all the regions. Already we've started one at East Bank at Grove. And then this is being replicated, East Coast, Region 5, Region 3, Region 6.
But elaborate a bit more on this, the people who are listening to us, because what is this truck parking? Is it some place where one individual can just have a space, or is it an entire designated area where persons who are owners of trucks can park them? What's the concept?
Well, there are two aspects. It's one, truck parks, and then there's also the auto zones that we'll be developing. Now, let's deal with the trucks. So it's an area for you, if you have your truck or trucks, as you rightly identified, that you can lease, and you can have both your trucks parked, you can service, you can do whatever is required to maintain those trucks and have it operable as your business. And that's part of your expense, your overhead expense. You would be amazed at the volume of trucks that we have on the road. You've traversed these banks, especially.
We do know.
Coming from the sand pits, and listen to them in the nights,
Yeah.
But the other thing on those areas, the auto zones, it's everywhere you go, in every community, you do have some bottom house workshop. You have spray painting taking place, and that's hazardous.
Yeah.
So we're going to be setting aside areas to allow persons to lease and to conduct their activity, their auto zone activities.
Yeah. So these are specially designated areas that we're calling for auto zones, or
That's
if there's
right.
another term that we'll use
For now,
subsequently, and one of these truck parking lots, so
yes.
you can do it, changing your waste oil and so on. But I mean, to me, especially because of the kind of auto zones where persons, have been complaining so many times about the fugitive dust and the scent from the spray painting for cars and so on, to take that out of communities, into a space where that is designated for that type of thing.
The EPA has been, as you know, as their board member, the EPA has been calling for this, some initiatives.
And it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
It's the right thing to do. And I'm so pleased that the Ministry of Housing is doing that.
Susdike, we're talking about new areas. The highway is no exception, because that's a gateway, obviously, to where the other parts of the hinterland and Region 10 too. So you have both lumber trucks, large timber trucks, and you have other trucks who are going to let them. So you have areas that will be designated, that even rest stops you'll have persons to be developed. So that's a issue where you see trucks on a ad hoc way on the highway. So we're happy about these, because we are playing our role as part of the collaboration with Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Public Works, that to develop communities. And this now just only, some people hear about housing, they're just thinking, yes, it's just allocation of lots. But we have our role to play too, where we want everybody to live in a better community.
Yes.
Whether it's to have the drains be done, the concrete drains to be done.
Yes.
Because we can't talk about beauty without the drainage.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know, some beauty, they're talking about beautification. That is something dear
Yeah.
to you too.
No, but don't
So,
let drains go
mm,
by. So
mm,
let's talk a little bit about drains because His Excellency had formed this national task force on drainage, right?
yes,
I mean, there's so many things we could talk
yeah,
about, but don't let's let that slip by.
yeah.
So let's talk a little bit of the GIST drainage task force. What is envisioned through that, and the allocation, I believe, of $8 billion last night through the budget that was
So let's
presented.
start about myself. When I, as a child growing up, you always hear
Mm,
about the Garden City,
mm,
Georgetown, beautiful Garden City.
mm,
And what did that mean? It's not just about, obviously, you had less buildings and tall
mm.
buildings, but it was also beautiful, well lit, well maintained parapets, trees, the
Salmon
drainage
trees.
cleaned
Yeah.
and everything. And persons could have gone and relaxed, not just at the botanical gardens.
Mm-hmm.
So we started off with the Georgetown program.
Mm-hmm.
We've had consultations which you were part
Oh
of.
yes, yeah.
We went to
That was good. You had
every
good
one of the
response.
constituency,
Yeah.
very positive
Mm-hmm.
responses, a lot of responses. So
Mm-hmm.
now persons want to see the implementation.
Yes.
And what that means is that if we're talking about beautification, we have to look at how we address flooding,
Yeah.
and ensuring that the water can get off as quickly as possible.
Yes.
We have in Georgetown, for example, a lot of those alleyways that are not maintained.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to ensure that we have proper drainage with the parapet, so the water can, you don't have the debris being washed into the drains,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
So that this will be part of a massive rollout of
Mm-hmm.
the enhancement of the city. And
Mm-hmm.
coincidentally, our president today, and I saw our president is in UK, so
Yes.
as this is
Part
this
of
is
the overall.
part of the overall
Yeah.
enhancement we have for the
Framework.
framework for the city and the gardens and so forth.
Yeah.
So we are part of that committee with Ministry of Local Government,
Mm-hmm.
Ministry of Public Works,
Mm-hmm.
that's with Sea Defense,
Mm-hmm.
National Drainage Irrigation Authority,
An integral part
Ministry
of
of
that.
Tourism, because
Yes.
they're part of this
Yeah.
development,
And the mayor and city council.
and
Too.
and the necessary local authorities. So
Yes.
it will move out to other communities, and that is why
Mm.
a massive sum was be placed there for drainage, and interlock drains.
Yeah.
Very important
Yeah.
for where
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're starting somewhere. So when we
Mm.
talk about beautiful communities, we're playing our part, and we're
Mm-hmm.
starting now, and eventually we wanted all of our schemes that we go.
Yeah.
Nice trees be there,
Mm.
and fruit trees, so you can have that benefit. Recreational
Some
facilities.
mango trees, right?
Yes. Well, we can play our part because Region 9, I see now there you have
Yeah.
marketing for the mangoes.
Yeah.
I always think about when I see all those mangoes under the trees,
Yeah.
especially when you go
Yeah.
St. Ignatius and
Yeah.
all those
Yeah.
places.
True. But as you speak of the drainage task force, it's so impressive, this kind of whole of government approach to things. So persons may not necessarily think that the Ministry of Housing is involved in, the construction of concrete drains
Yeah.
or that kind of thing. But the interconnectivity, the interlinkage across these ministries to ensure that whatever specific problem or issue, the manner in which it's being addressed, resolved, is in a way that integrates and involves, the various agencies and ministries to be a lot more comprehensive. But key in particular, just like how we had that consultation in Georgetown across all of the constituencies to ensure that citizens are part and parcel of that discussion as well, and their recommendations are taken on board.
And with that, I want our listeners probably to
Mhm.
follow more when the president speaks about the orange economy,
Yeah,
what it means, and this is
Yeah.
part of that enhancement. So you have a beautiful Georgetown. You'll be able to walk between streets, and so to traverse, and so
we
you'll
have to do
see
some walking,
we'll see.
Collin.
Yes, I do. I mean, I do that when
Both of us, both
I have
of
to
us.
do I do that when in Hinterland, not in Georgetown. But coming back to housing, so that's part of the
No,
community.
but don't go to housing as yet, because I think we still want to set
Sure.
the stage of this kind of broader picture for me, So you started to speak about what is linked to the government of Guyana's collaboration with the King's Foundation,
Sure.
what is being led through, an initiative that's been driven by our president. So perhaps you can speak a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So we have, and so you've already had initial presentations what Water Street, for example, will look like. And then turning into, you have the museums, you have facilities where you have small persons who can be able to sell their paraphernalias. A lot of those persons you see on the streets around the Republic. So you'll be in a
craft and so
considerability
on.
area where you have your crafts displayed. So when persons come to Georgetown, or even not necessarily tourists, but even us here,
Mm-hmm.
you go to certain part, you enjoy that connectivity coming around the Lamaha Street,
Mm-hmm.
where you have the conversion of the facility, the old train station,
Right.
right?
Right.
You have that is also interlinked to what you when you go to the enhancement from the seawall from
Yeah.
Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a well laid out plan
Mm-hmm.
that allows in between for we want to have more local traversing in terms of walking.
Yes.
So when
And
you
parking.
one parking, well, parking that is coming to that in a few. So we would have presented in our consultations plans for some of the drains
Yeah.
to have it done in a particular way. We do coverings to facilitate more parking,
Mm-hmm.
streamline parking,
Mm-hmm.
the public transportation, the strengthening of the public transportation, so you can have things in an organized way that when you go to other countries, what you've enjoyed, that is what,
Organized and orderly,
and that's what Georgetown will eventually look like.
which it needs to return to. As you spoke
Yeah.
about the Garden City, right? So all our efforts into ensuring that we return to that, we expand on that, we build on that. And our cultural heritage or the architecture of Georgetown. There's so much that we want to showcase as part of that whole Georgetown framework plan that
Yes.
is put forward.
But the citizens have to play their part too, because
That's
this
true.
can't be us at the government
That is
level
so
too,
very true. I'm glad that you raised that point.
which will include solid waste.
Yes, yes, yes. Minister Manikchan
Yeah.
is dealing with that. But again, with regard to our interconnectivity, we're helping to identify areas where those new landfills will be. And as Dr. Ashley Singh said in the budget presentation last night, that our country will transition to a state where we will have recycling, improve waste management.
But I'm happy the
That is the
conversation is
manner
going
where
in that regard. I mean, we
yes.
see all these things out, different color code for the
Yes.
different type of waste.
Yes.
So I'm glad the conversation is moving in that
Yeah.
direction. No doubt, and a lot of it has to go to our children
The programs and
because
plans in
the
that
school level.
direction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we all have to play our part.
Yeah, and I think it presents a fantastic opportunity to me with regard to solid waste management and recycling for private investment. I mean, why can't someone or some conglomerate invest in a recycling plant? Government can do so much, but we keep saying that it's not just what the public sector is expected to do. Seeing more and greater private sector involvement is important. But I mean, I put you on pause to start talking
we
about
also,
housing.
but with this also means from our level at Central Housing would be further enforcement of it in terms of the community activities, not
Right.
only activities that are taking place to ensure that it's for the proper land use, it's regulated, and persons have the permission to operate the type of business that they're embarking on.
Are you talking about single
So we
window?
have to go to zone. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so let's hear.
Well, this thing, single window, and it's a fact. It's a known fact that to the level at which we want it to be implemented, was not operational at the level at which we wanted it. It was working,
Yeah.
but the single window is not just Central Housing and Planning Authority business.
But persons who are listening to us may wonder, what is a single window? What is this system? I mean, we talk about e-governance and how we move more onto kind of online services and how we become more efficient as government. So what's a single window? I sound like if I'm interviewing you, but tell me.
Well, it's for anybody for construction permit. Historically, you would have gone different agencies to get your different papers approved.
Yeah.
One in terms of fire, you go to health, you go to the local authority, you come to housing.
Right.
So it's going one place, and that is applying right through Central Housing Planning Authority, creating your username and your access, and you're uploading, and to have this done electronically, and you can monitor after that the progress of your application.
Yeah, so it's an online portal that persons can apply. You put your proof
Anywhere
of ownership.
in the world, if they can do this from once they have the necessary.
You put your plan.
documentation.
Once you have it, you can either scan it or you have it on a flash disk. You just kind of upload it, and the process goes through. And that we're working diligently to ensure that it's efficient, and we cut down the time that persons have to wait to get a response
We want
on the
it to be no
approval or
longer
not.
than 45 days.
Excellent. And, Collin, it's not just for commercial or non-residential, but also for residential properties, right? So if somebody wants to build a house or put an extension on their home, whatever type of activity that is in the residence.
And you make all your necessary fees, you pay right here. We were the ones who were remitting it back to the local authority.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be running around at anyone's desk. All you're doing is checking online with Central Housing and Planning
And it's
Authority.
enabled MMG, right? You can use MMG and pay.
Make a payment too. It's
There you
much
go.
easy for you to.
Yes,
But we've been having some few challenges because a lot of persons still accustomed with the local authority level. So
yeah,
we're
going with a
working.
big plan.
I mean,
rolling it out.
we have created an action plan. We're working with all agencies.
Yeah.
We're now having much more cooperation.
Yeah.
In ensuring that persons can get their approval.
And we support, we're grateful for that support that we get from our colleagues, the Minister of Health and the Minister of Local Government, Minister Manik Chan and Minister Frank Anthony in that regard, getting, the environmental health assistance, the regional health officers, as well as the local democratic offices, the NDCs and so on in the municipalities, and helping us to push that forward.
And we've also equipped our regional offices.
That's true.
That you can utilize our regional offices because not everybody has the ability or the access for uploading.
Yeah.
So you can go to our regional housing offices and be able to utilize the facility there to upload.
Collin, truth be told, I don't think that everyone across the different regions know that you don't necessarily have to come to Georgetown if you live in Region 3, or if you live in Region 2, or even Region 6. So the fact that we have had regional housing offices, so share that.
So we have, for example, Region 2, our regional housing office is in Anne Regina, Region 3 at Port Drawing, Region 4 is Central, Region 5 it's with the same compound with Guyana Water Inc. You can't miss it because the police station is right across. Region
Do
6,
I have to come from Lethem?
Absolutely not. So Region 6, it's at New Amsterdam. Region 7, we have our office at Bartica, the RDC building. We don't have an office in Region 8. Region 9, we're in the industrial, right next to the fire station.
Yeah,
Region 9
that's true.
at Lethem. And Region 10, of course, in Linden.
Yeah.
So we have, by and large, in most of the regions, we have regional housing offices. But we've been working with the local authorities too.
Yeah.
They now all have internet.
Yeah.
So you can go there to upload.
Yeah, so it's real time. It's a real time application process, and that countdown from 45 days starts from the time you submit, you upload your document.
And we strengthen our monitoring too, because we have our tracking to follow up. So by now, all persons who have been waiting a while should have been contacted.
Yeah, that's true. So now, I mean, I kind of put you on pause a bit, but last night it was announced that $159.1 billion was allocated to the housing sector. You've been in this position as Minister of Housing from 2020, right? Yes, so what are your impressions? What do you want to say? How excited you are?
Very, because, you even today, the amount of persons saying, I'm waiting on my house lot. We can respond easily to all the backlog, but it's also to have the land, the preparation of the land.
Yes.
So I'm very happy about that, and there are a number of other things that we're embarking on. We also have construction of, we're embarking on road access, opening up of highways. So
I don't know. I mean, me myself, before I came to Ministry of Housing, I didn't even know that the Ministry of Housing, forgive me, highways, building any roads. But
so you're enjoying when you're going. So for Thursday, for example, we're going on Soosdijk for a program. We'll talk if we can, talk a little about. But you're accustomed now. You drive to Craig and you at Busby Dam. You exit at Busby Dam.
True.
Well, we're constructing the continuation to land at Canaan.
True.
And they have done the alignment for onwards to Soosdijk, but this year, during this year, you will be able to have the completion of that road, and we're looking forward. Look how many time we have saved by just going even to reaching to Craig from Diamond. We've taken out Grove, cut all of that time. So you save a lot of time on to traveling on these banks, provided not access. Even now, without our Heroes Highway, think what it would be like in the morning.
I don't even want to.
East Coast is going through that, what East Bank used to experience. And that's because we know it as the railway line.
Yeah.
So that
showing our age.
So that's going through its expansion.
Yeah.
So we're coming back to your question though. We're excited because we've committed a number of things. One, we said, yes, we have allocations. But if you go back to our pending applicants, the largest volume of region of applicants in any region is region
Region
4.
4, yeah.
So if you're saying 75,000 plus,
Mm-hmm.
of that about 50,000 is from region 4.
Mm-hmm.
And we're working still to find additional land to do
Yeah.
more.
I know people have some frustrations. They've been waiting, you know, you
Yes.
have put in an application. Some persons think, you know, it's long ago. If you applied in 2023, you're waiting for a long time. And it's not that we're not mindful of that. But what do we have to say to them?
But we're moving up the
Exactly.
years for region 4 now.
Exactly.
So we'll be moving into 2021.
Yeah.
And prior, we're setting up the portal so you can be able to go online to we'll
track.
have your all persons who are 2021 and prior. So
Yeah.
we're able to register that and have
Yeah.
your name. So we can go into that list.
Yeah.
And when we're doing allocations, we don't have to, and we have a list. We know these are people
Yeah.
who are following up. They're here. They're active.
Yeah, but that's just for region 4, right?
That's
but
just
region
region 4.
1 to 3 and 5 to 10. What's the story there?
The story is we want to clear all the pending.
Not a story, a reality.
You
right?
clear all the pending applicants.
Yes. Yeah.
Eliminate the pending applicants.
Yeah.
But we are starting somewhere, so we're doing the 2024 and prior. That is what we're working on.
Yeah. So that's why it's so important and so fantastic that we have this budgetary allocation, that we now can go after the ensuring that the lands are, you know, prepared so that, you know, the lots can be done, the planning can be done. We have a fantastic team of planners and engineers and surveyors to ensure that we have those lands and lots prepared.
Exactly.
So that persons is just putting in an application and then looking and waiting your allocation. There's a lot that is required to happen
but
before
that's only
that
one
occurs.
aspect.
Yes.
We've added a new thing. We've said, you're coming to housing, you're asking for houses. A lot of persons might now would approach you this they're interested in houses, but we don't have.
Right.
And so we've recognized we have a niche that we want to play a greater role in. Persons were professionals, they're working, they're busy, they don't have the time to deal with the hassle of contractors. and all of that. So we're going to be building 40,000 houses in this 5-year period.
Yeah, we're going to be busy this year.
Very busy. So this year budget, we've committed to start with 8,000.
Yeah.
It therefore means the 159 that you alluded to, the 159 billion, some of that goes towards the land preparation for us to be able to build the houses.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's similar like how we prepare the land for allocations. Similarly, we have to prepare for construction of houses.
Yeah.
We have some lands that we're going to be moving quickly, some low-hanging fruits, but
Yeah.
by and large, to fulfill what we want to do in terms of the houses, it's a land preparation.
Yeah, and improvement of the road access and putting in new roads so that
Correct.
persons, you know, can get to
Yes.
these areas more readily. So it can't be seen in just
And
one
it's our
aspect.
intention to we have started houses in some of the regions, in every region, to be able to build houses and to, well, based on the demand, the local demand, based on the niche, we'll be building relevant houses, type of houses.
You know, one of the things I remember with fondness is you know, engagement with the president, and he speaks about how he used to be able, you know, he's being from Region 3, Lenora area, and traverse from this area, Lenora, is it Lenora to where? And it used to take so long. And based on the time,
canal,
it would just be reduced to
using a high
minutes.
dam. Using
the high dam. So
Yeah.
so, and we've taken that as part of our programs
We've been
for this
working
year.
on.
Yes?
So reducing, so interconnect.
So what's the name of that interconnecting?
So it's the
road? What's
connecting
gonna
west
happen?
coast of Demar to the west bank.
Exactly.
Will be under 10 minutes.
Exactly.
So we'll be building out
Which
a
took
road to
several
connect from
hours, right?
Lenora, and you're coming out at Canal Number 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
So imagine that versus going all the way around.
Yeah, I wouldn't have seen that. I mean, just thinking that for me, I live on the East Coast, and the fact that if you're going anywhere along the East Bank, you know, anywhere along there, I have relatives in the Craig area, or so on, are you going on the highway, or you're going to the airport, or whatever. Now you just go by that roundabout by Ogle there, and then you get on the Ogle to Eccles thing, and you come through what we used to call Busby Dam, and that takes out a significant
Now they're driving
part.
so fast, they're missing the third.
But that's a whole other aspect. But that is Minister Waldron's portfolio. Yeah, but I mean, thinking back of the, you know, the theme of this year's budget being putting people first, and thinking of the measures that were announced last night, there were perhaps 3 particular ones about mortgage ceilings, home improvement, and so on. Perhaps we can elaborate.
But before,
on
let
that.
me, I just want to, speaking about houses, since we're talking about housing. And so we are constantly building low-income houses, moderate-income houses, 3-bedroom, young professional for the higher income.
Mm-hmm.
And we've just added a bit on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are going to be participating in an activity,
Mm-hmm.
and that is an initiative of our president.
Mm-hmm.
And I speak here, we call it the homestead houses,
Yeah.
but it's basically the houses that comes with the shade houses.
Mm-hmm.
And with the shade house, it's to be able to support. And we're targeting a segment of our pending applicants.
Yeah.
And so we'll be having the first 50 houses that is complete and available to be have persons pre-qualify.
Right.
And here we're targeting applicants in the Linden Suzac Highway or the
East Bank
upper
corridor.
East Bank corridor.
Mm-hmm.
And our women can be single women too, but
Women-led households.
that
Yeah.
gives them an opportunity that they earn, or you can be working at the airport too.
Right.
And so they can be able to earn. They're doing their regular job, and you
Mm-hmm.
spend 1 hour in the day with the shared houses, and they
Mm-hmm.
return. And the president has worked out a model and the costing with NARI. And so you'll be able to, with the shade house, be able to replenish and have a supplemental
Yeah,
income.
I really like this project because it's innovative. It
Yes.
links, it's not just a matter of providing housing for persons. It is so many things integrated into it. So number one, you mentioned shade house. Shade house is a space where you grow crops or
Right.
you grow, plants, flower plants, whatever.
And you have some high end you can target.
Exactly, right? So that is the thought that this shade house that is going to be attached to your home as part of this as a part of this project. When you get your home, it's not just the house itself, but it's also the shade house, and that the crops that you grow in this shade house can be sold now, and the revenue you earn for that can help you to pay for the house in which you
Or
live.
even
I think
beyond
that's
that,
fantastic.
or for yourself to expand on another type of business, you invest in
Right,
another business,
right.
or you help yourself to grow and in other areas. So we're excited about, and we want to inculcate in our people too that it's okay to seek other additional opportunities
True.
to be able to earn more.
True.
We want everyone to be able to be more affluent, and that's nothing wrong with
I
that.
remember the last budget 2025 at least spoke about persons having a second
Job,
source
yes.
of income, a second job,
Yeah.
and so all of this ties
Yeah, well, a
in.
lot of persons took it in a negative way to
Yeah,
say,
right,
but
right.
they don't understand that we want everybody to get up as
Yeah, but we
quickly
got
as
to
possible.
focus on the people who are positive,
Yes.
and I mean, not the naysayers. We got to show that how much government is doing, how much private sector is doing, how much is being done generally to support people. But I noticed you didn't mention, as you speak about this homestead project, about the timber aspect, which
I know that's because I was going to bring that on there when we talk about it on a measure for the construction sector with the furniture. But
yeah,
but it's a hybrid, and
Yeah.
I would want actually to give you the opportunity to go a little to speak about towards how we're merging in terms of
yeah,
incorporating the use of wood much
Yeah.
more
yeah.
in our construction,
Yeah.
and what's the plan. In fact, I saw you were part of the team with Minister Vikram. You would have visited Barama.
Oh, that was last week. Yeah,
And
true.
they have invested in the plywood, forward in the plywood industry, and they have also, because I saw something about having they've invested in the plyboard where you have water resistant type plyboard.
Yes, marine, what they
So I
call marine
wanted
ply.
to talk a little
Yeah.
more, because it's something in the construction. We want more persons to utilize plyboard now,
Yeah.
because it's not maybe it's better quality now, and so it's much more sturdy. So it's good if
I
you
mean,
can
there's
say a
so many
little.
things you could say, but going back to the homestead project specifically in the context of the use of timber and our locally produced timber from the fantastic forest resources that our country has. This is using, a lot of times people doing construction, you think of kabakali, you think of green heart, you think of purple heart. And this project uses so many other species that we typically call, persons like myself who come from the forestry sector, the lesser used species, your tatubu, your tornado, your simarupa, and so on. And these timbers are used as part of the construction of these homesteads, these homes.
So in the past, a lot of that would have been just left there and
Left there
unutilized.
or used to a much lesser extent,
Sure.
So it speaks well for those persons who are in the timber production aspect, the loggers and so on, because for any particular area where you do harvesting, if you're just only taking out one or two types of tree species, or even five, let's say 5 or 10, where now you can take even more.
Right.
But without raising any alarm to persons who are listening and don't have an understanding of the timber, because we do have a selective logging thing where there are parameters, there are proximity limits. You can't harvest over a
And
certain
we still have to
quantum.
maintain certain
So
standards.
we
Yeah.
have maintained sustainable forestry in our country. And we proudly recognize for the manner in which our sustainable harvesting has been upheld, and we recognize for that. But the point is that the timbers that are being used are local, first of all. The timbers that are being used go beyond the 5 or 10 species that we normally use, showcasing that these other timbers also have durability, they're beautiful, and you're showcasing the use of that so that many more persons can benefit from it.
So on this one, the one house,
Hmm.
I understand there were 15 the different
Yes,
species of wood that you
yes,
utilize.
yes, yes,
Mm.
yes. And so, you have your natural timbers there, they're involved in the building. So when people, and I hope, as many people take the opportunity to
Mm.
learn about this project, because it's not only about that project, but how you can apply it to your own if you're involved in, any kind of addition, improvement at your home that already exists, or if you plan to build, or even the persons who are involved in, kind of commercial industrial activity. That is not just steel and cement,
Yeah.
although steel and cement is important for us in this
But that's
sector as
another
well.
aspect
But
we
that's
can talk
that's
to.
that's
Yeah.
important for them
Mm.
to focus on. Yeah.
And the house are being built at a time now, so you have the removal of VAT
Hmm.
for to encourage persons to build furniture, but
Yeah.
more importantly, for the wood, the doors
The doors, the
and the
molding.
molding.
Yeah. The
So that
doors, the
I'm very
molding, and the
so
furniture. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that is very important
Yeah.
to elaborate for our listeners.
Yeah. Because you do
Mm.
need doors for your
You
house,
need
right?
doors for your houses. Everyone, so a lot of persons started to move away from the wood doors and they were
Yeah.
just going to the
The,
metal doors. And so
yes.
here is an opportunity now
Yes.
to
Yes.
encourage the local industry, the
Yes.
local furniture,
Yeah. Yeah.
those
And they have
persons
to
who,
bring down the cost of these things, because if you no longer have to pay VAT on a green hard door or purple hard door, very durable,
very strong. Yeah.
they can stand up to anything. It's encouragement.
And depending on which type, they outlive my lifetime too.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that too, and that's
Yeah.
certainly that's one way we're helping the sector when
Mhm.
we're talking about housing,
Mhm.
for persons who are certainly persons who are constructing and will have
Yeah.
an opportunity to build their own home too.
Yeah. But going back to the people aspect,
Mm.
because the theme, as I mentioned, and we all recognize,
Mm.
is just putting people first, the
Right.
theme for the budget. And Dr. Ali spoke about, two of the measures. One that increases the
The
mortgage ceiling
hmm
from 20 million
to
that was under
30,
the last
30
to
million.
30, and that now being extended to the
Sure.
insurance companies. And
But
how
let
does that help people?
sure. So let's
What's
go back a
how
little.
relevant is that to our sector?
Let's go back to the last 5 years.
Uh-huh.
And so when we got in at 2020,
Mm-hmm.
low income mortgage rate,
Mm-hmm.
lending rate
Mm-hmm.
was on average 6%.
Mm-hmm.
In over the period we've been able to on average now it's about 3 point on average it's 3 point and it varies to the bank to bank.
Yeah.
But it came down about 3%.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm speaking here of the low all categories came down.
Mm-hmm.
And then we keep increasing the mortgage lending rates. We start
Mm-hmm.
move from 8 to 20 and
Yeah.
on this year we're going to 30.
Yeah.
That alone now means because even for the persons who were for the young professional,
Mm-hmm. The flat houses.
the flat houses, so they are covered. People with the elevated young professional,
Yeah, which so
with
many people
24
are asking for now,
asking
right?
for it.
Everybody wants an
So
elevated house.
so the mindset is the thinking, oh, it's only persons who are not low income earner, but because with the increase of the ceiling,
Yeah.
allows persons to aspire to have a bigger home,
Yeah.
more bedroom type size houses for
Yeah.
based on their children,
Yeah.
or accordingly based on your pocket you can be able to keep extending
Yes.
to that amount.
Yeah.
And along with the banks,
Mm-hmm.
you have now approved insurance companies
Mm-hmm.
that will be able to also
Yeah.
participate,
Yeah.
to be part of this
Yeah.
lending program.
Yeah. So the
So,
point I'm making with
so
you, as much as you elaborate on that,
mm,
it speaks about people.
again,
How do people
and
benefit?
to persons on the smallest end of the bracket. So,
Exactly.
for example, now the very part-time workers or the CSO who's earning a stipend, well, they're in the hinterland, but
Mm-hmm.
persons who are now earning their $50,000,
Mm-hmm.
that's on a part-time.
Mm-hmm.
they too on the low income bracket can afford to own a low income house
Right.
and be able to he'll still have remainder for themselves. And so, I mean, the low income, the part-time work is really intended to allow you to embark on
To give you a startup.
other activities
Yeah.
for yourself.
Give you a startup.
So this is just a 10 days and
Yeah.
contribution, and you're receiving that
Yeah.
stipend. But I'm also making a point is that anyone here now in our country, anyone who earns, it doesn't matter where they work, can be able to pre-qualify and for a low-income house, starting at a low-income house.
Yeah.
And that's very important. And we're talking about putting people first because that's also ensuring no one be left behind.
Right. So let's go back now to expand it a bit more because we're still on this point about putting people first. So there's the other measure about home improvement.
Right.
Um,
So we had, His Excellency would have announced an initiative, first of all, at our Building Expo.
Right.
And this, when it started, the thinking was a subsidy program for steel and cement to help with foundation. So you have your land because we were encouraging person to construct. You have your land, and you can be able to apply because you haven't done any construction, and with an assessment, once it's okay, you're issued a voucher.
Yeah, because you have that land, but you don't necessarily have the resources to start. But you require to have that foundation, right?
And
before
then
you
the
can go to the
banks
bank.
will be willing more once they see
Exactly.
effort.
I think it's such an excellent initiative.
So we start, and we've issued on vouchers. We continue to issue, but now we want to move the program beyond just that. Because why? A lot of persons have come in to us and said, well, you're looking at the people who have not started.
Right.
Well, here I am. I have my building. I just need a little support to complete my step. I just need a little support. I want to change my roof.
Yeah.
I need a little support. My windows need changing. So we'll have some bit of that as part of this addition on the $7.5 billion.
$7.5 billion
to help with support.
Yeah.
Housing support.
Yeah, it's really encouraging because, you know, as we go out and we have these, you know, outreaches and people come with various issues to you, and sometimes you feel a little kind of, you know, your hands are tied because you can't be able to assist someone who is really in need, you know, and it's really encouraging and heartwarming that we can have those resources.
We started off talking about the persons who have not had an opportunity.
That's right.
Then we spoke about persons who've had an opportunity with their land.
That's right.
But they need a little help to commence their construction.
Yeah.
We're now talking about those persons who've had.
Yes.
But they need a little support, and for one reason or the other cannot afford to.
Roof leaking.
You know, basically we'll be able to assist in this regard.
Yes.
Again, putting people first. Everyone, every category is affected in a positive way. Every category of a workforce out there has something for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is housing for you.
This housing for us. And housing also is speaking about beautification with regard to green spaces, right? Looking at the community grounds, how they can be upgraded, ensuring that persons have safe spaces that they can exercise.
So along with the work being done, Ministry Culture, Youth and Sport,
right?
We want every community you go to must have an active green space.
Yes.
That one can have some leisure in the evenings or the afternoon. You can exercise in.
Space for the elderly as well.
You require it. So you have a ring around.
We look like two old people on the couch, by the way. But
by the way, we have three. Very soon we'll be commissioning 3 facilities in this regard.
That's true.
Similarly,
yes.
Over on the 2 on the East Bank and 1 over Region 3 on the Niming. So we certainly look forward to a lot of work to be done ahead.
The play areas for the children you didn't mention.
And it's to strike that hybrid. So we spoke about the elderly, you exercise. We spoke about maybe the couple who need that bench to have a nice romantic conversation. And then you also have for your children to take them in that space that they can play too.
Yeah.
And that's what the ideal recreational minimum criteria we would want for a recreational
And
facility.
true, and to have that in
Fence
every
and
community that people can access that. It's a safe space, it's a clean space, it's you know, it's a good you can reflect on, you can do yoga if you if you like, or just, you know, have a
yeah.
stroll and just have a space where you can just be.
Fenced,
Yeah,
lighting,
yeah, yeah.
washroom facility.
Yeah,
Mm.
and some of them we will put, you know, buildings that they can have if there's, you know, like you used to have these kind of
Centers,
yeah,
mm,
right,
mm.
right. So if you have a
Training
birthday
program,
party and
yeah.
those
Mm.
kinds of things, yeah,
So
yeah,
we also want persons from the communities to utilize these
yeah,
grounds.
and help to manage them too. That's important.
Very, very important.
Yeah,
Putting
they have the
management
management to do.
committees.
Yeah, yeah.
I've noted that Giovanni's bank and I see one or two of the facilities that we handed over, and you know,
Mm,
even the gate I see is missing.
yeah, true.
So it's very important that persons of the community take care
Yeah.
and put our young people their energy to to allow them to express themselves in a positive way,
Mhm.
useful way.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we're happy in that regard.
Mhm. I remember 2 weeks ago when we were coming back from the Region 2 outreach, and we stopped by it was just by Anna Regina where they had that space. First
Oh,
Lady had
lovely
piloted that, you
facilities.
know, and we were able to go on the slide, which I did.
By the high bridge,
Yes,
yes.
you know, and persons,
Mm,
you had two young people there who were studying, and you know, it's
mm,
just a quiet space that they can have. Persons can bring their children
sure.
and so on. That's what we
Mm,
intend to have across communities. That if persons can visualize that and see that happening, there's that piece by Windsor Forest area,
sure.
by the seawall, and you know, people, we want our fellow citizens to see that this is our intent, and this is where we're going.
So,
Yeah,
so I'm happy that we having this conversation.
yeah,
This is housing. We can talk about so many
so
things, and
many
and
things.
we can even go into some of the topics in more details.
Hmm.
So I'm sure we can come back at some point and speak
Yeah,
and
sure.
elaborate a little more.
Yeah, we also have to do our budget debate.
Yes, I'm ready for that. I know. You know, this is one of the exciting times in Parliament
Okay, okay.
when you have the budget
First for
debate.
me, so let's see.
Yes, oh yes, you won't get heckled because there's a conventional rule that says
Oh,
the
there is? Okay.
first time speaker, no heckling.
Yeah, but
So,
there's so much
but
there's
then
so much
sometimes
to
it's a
say.
bit boring when
Yeah,
everybody's that silent
yeah,
and
yeah,
you sound like you're just preaching, you
yeah.
know.
No, but I mean, reflecting so much again on that presentation last night. I mean, there's so many things that persons can see how they can benefit, not only personally but other different groups as part of our society, and how you know so many aspects of our government's programs and policies are being integrated.
From the young, from the baby
Yeah,
to the elderly.
yeah,
A voucher from the time that baby is
is
born.
born. Yes,
Schooling,
yes.
well taken care of.
Transportation support now.
Transportation support, your
Children
meals,
and the elderly.
yeah, both.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and similarly, when you get older,
Yeah.
if we keep increasing our pension every
The
year,
Because We Care
mm,
grant.
and we have the health facilities too.
Yeah.
The expansion or improvement in health facilities to allow
So impressive, eh?
you
Those
don't have
regional
to find that money.
hospitals.
The pensioners do not have to find that money in the past, like
Yeah.
for the eye
Yeah.
drops and the usual tablets that they
A
go
lot of
for.
times people don't see the value in that and on how much you're
No
saving
longer have to go in your
if you
pocket.
had to go into your pocket and find the money
You
for
don't
your eye
have to.
drops or
Same
whatever
thing
it
with the
is. Yeah.
school. You don't have
Yeah.
to find for the school books. That's all
Right.
taken care of as a
True.
parent.
True. True.
So
True.
we can go on. We can probably come back and speak a little more into some of those broad
Yeah.
measures.
Sure.
So I think we're
Yeah.
going about an hour now. So
Yeah, it's so long.
yes,
It's nice chat. Yeah,
yes,
but there's
yes.
so much you can say about the
I
budget.
know.
Putting people first.
So we'll come
Yeah.
back and talk.
Back
But
to work. Come on, we still gotta look at this.
so for Ministry of Housing, though, it's exciting times ahead.
Exciting
We
times
want
ahead.
to ensure that given opportunity as quickly as possible to
Mhm.
persons for home ownership
Yeah.
and the security of tenure.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yes.
Only this morning we were in a meeting to discuss ownership of
Exactly.
lands
Yes.
so that we can be able to give persons as quickly their title.
Yes.
That is very
Yes.
important.
I look forward to us to deliver on the promises made by the manifesto and the commitments that we do have to ensure that we deliver on people's wants and their wishes and to help to
Absolutely.
improve the lives of our fellow Guyanese.
Make people lives better
Yeah.
and happy. Welcome to housing.